Hello snowboarders of the internet, I'm your host Avran LeFeber, and in this video we're going to break down the Ride Anthem Boot. One thing that you need to remember is the best boot is the one that fits your foot and fits your needs. So try on as many boots as you can, figure out what works and what doesn't work for you. It's a lot of personal preference and what your comfort level is. With the Anthem, the big thing to note on the shell is that there is a lot of double stitching going on. So you have double stitching around the toe. You've got this toe cap here, you got this side piece here, this black section here. What you're gonna notice with it being double stitched is that there's areas like right here, if you rest your edge on the board, it's gonna dig in and that can affect the seams. The other thing is this multi-piece design right here, if you really crank your toe strap down, these are gonna create flex points as well as pressure points if you really have that last click syndrome. So you can get this to collapse in on itself. You really want more of a uniform fit, but with this being a price point boot, this is kind of what you can expect from it. On the back of the boot, you do have a nice back spine. It doesn't go up as high as other boots in the Ride lineup. You got urethane. This is gonna help with rebound. So when you drive into this boot and you're flexing this boot, it's gonna react. It's not gonna break down as fast as, say, like a leather or a synthetic material similar to that, maybe a nubuck or something. This is just gonna have a little bit more power. You do have a very minor articulation in the heel. So when you flex into this, it's got a little bit of give to it, but not a lot. Overall, it is a softer boot. This is more of that entry level or low level intermediate type of boot. Now, one of the cool features we need to talk about with the back spine of this boot is right up here at the top. You can actually adjust where that backstay sits because there's Velcro on the side here. So for those of you that have a bigger calf, you can actually move this back if you need to, or if you've got a narrower calf, you can pull it more forward and make it a little bit more snug. This is a really nice feature just to give you some added customization. And at a boot at this price point, you normally do not see something like this. Inside the liner, you do have that heat reflective tape to help keep heat into your liner to keep your feet more warm. On the shell of this boot, it is single boa, but you do have the closer system right down here. So what this does is it helps pull from the sides, and this helps with the crisscross as well as the tension. So when you're actually tightening this, it gives it a more uniform snugness. You do have the cloth lace instead of the cable lace, so that's gonna have a little bit more give. On the sole of this boot, you got the grip light. The tread on this boot, not the gnarliest, you can kind of see that, but you do get two materials. You get foam and then you get that slime urethane in there, so that's gonna help dampen under the heel and under the ball of the foot there. Is it the most aggressive one? No, you've got a lot of play in this, but what would you expect from a boot like this? If you were expecting this to help dampen the ride, not gonna happen at all. All right, so we're about halfway through this video. Why don't you give it a thumbs up right down there? And while you're at it, why don't you subscribe, click the bell, get those notifications. That way you're not missing any of the videos we got coming out for all you snowboarders of the internet. The liner in the Anthem is the plush liner. This isn't their most premium one. This is like a standard liner. It opens from the front. It's not burrito wrap. It is Intuition foam, and this is solid foam in there in my opinion. So this is an integrated liner with the pull string for tightening it down on the actual liner itself. You're gonna notice that you got this little pull tab right there. It does have a little locking mechanism, so when you pull up, that does help stay a little bit more tight. And you've got this exoskeleton on both sides. This is going to provide you with a little bit more lateral support, but by and large, this is a soft liner. You just got to be aware of it. It is an Intuition liner, so it is heat moldable. You're also going to notice you got really big seams right at a flex point there, so some of you may end up feeling this. At the top of the liner, you do have that fantasy fur. That just helps your foot slide in a little bit better, and you do have some nice J-bars to it. These will probably pack out. They're not as aggressive as other ones in there, and this is more of a slight U shape instead of a V shape. It's a little wider in that heel. When we look at the stock insole, this thing is, there is no arch support. There is just foam. This thing is trash. I don't care if you ride 1 day a year or 50 days a year. Replace this. Trust me on that. Throwing some measurements at this size. It is just shy of 10 inches. On the tongue, it's about 10.5. As you can adjust this back here, that can change, but the peak does start at about that 10.5 and come down. Measuring this with the liner in at the back of the boot, it is 11 inches at the height. And on the tongue, it's about 10.5. There is that slope down there. It's about normal for every other boot. I like to measure this at the widest part of the forefoot, so I set it to the 1 inch mark on the tape measure. This comes just past 5 inches, so it's just past 4 inches wide at the forefoot. So this is a little bit on the wider side. So those of you that have a wider forefoot and you're starting out, this is not a bad option to be looking at if it fits your foot and fits your needs. I won't lie, this is a beginner boot, but it's a well-built beginner boot in my opinion. There's a lot of good tech in this for the price. It's not going to be the stiffest, and remember, boot is only as stiff as the day you try it on. It progressively just gets softer, and obviously, if you're 6'4", 280 pounds and a size 9, you're going to flex it different than a guy that's 5'6" and 180 pounds. It's just how it is. But this boot has a ton of give to it. I mean, it's going to break in. That's a given. I like the fact that it's got an intuition liner. If you're just starting out looking for a comfort fit boot, I wouldn't hesitate to look at this, especially if you do have a wider foot. I mean, this is wider in the forefoot, and then it's also got like more of that U shape in the heel. So those of you that just have a fatter heel, this shouldn't be a problem getting into it. By and large, I think it's a solid boot for what it is, and at that price point, definitely something to look at. Like what we're doing over here? Want to support us further? Swing on over to Angry Snowboarder VIP and become a member. Sure, I could tell you more here, but I got a video over there that explains it so much better. All right, so now that we've gone through the Anthem, we've broken down what you can expect out of it, the only thing you need to do is try it on yourself and figure out if it's the boot for you. If it's not, well, try on something else. And if you're still not sure after watching this video, don't worry. We got plenty of other boot breakdowns just for you.